hit just about every single bonus, that we have on the comp plan. So it is very important that people really work this that way. Now, some people may say, I have my own way of doing things. I have my own way from that I learned from previous companies or whatever it is. That's fantastic. The comp plan will pay you a lot more than any other company that you've been in. Obviously, you guys know that. And you guys also will see that no matter which way you do the business, you will be successful. Obviously, you may not hit all the bonuses like with using the 5 steps, but it is very, very powerful either way you try to use it. So it's something that is pretty excellent. Now, we know we have people from all over the world. I know right now Albert is in Africa at this moment. I know that we have a lot of people right now from Ghana, from Jamaica. We have people on from the United States. We have people on from all over the world. And see what we're going to be able to do right now. If you guys are going to take notes, it's going to be something that is pretty powerful, because these little small words that we will talk about today will probably, if you use them, change drastically what you are accomplishing right now within Via Divina. So it's very powerful. Okay. And I want to kind of go through the story, because I think you guys will understand why I use the 5 steps to success, why, we're building on this, as we are growing and everything. And just so you guys know, by the way, just so you, let me see here. Let's see if I can put this up right now. There it is. So here you go. Just so you guys know, here you go. Can you permit me to screen share, Albert?
Yeah, I'm making you the host right now, Armand.
Okay, beautiful. So, okay, there we go. So one of the things that I wanted you guys to know is that luckily we have a guidebook, a handbook that we're basically launching. It's the wrong one. Here you go. Okay, we're basically launching pretty soon. It's already in print at this moment, so you guys could most likely have that on hand. Here you go. There you go. So if you guys are looking at that, basically we have a whole book that will be printed. You guys will see it in the next, I think it's going to be June 1st when you guys will see it online, basically all over the place. It's very simple stuff. It's basically a handbook that we created that gives you step by step everything that that is within network marketing. Basically, if you don't know how to do something, you don't know how to do a 3-way call, you can kind of zoom into the chapters, of the 3-way calls. It's just to give you a little bit of the contents that are on here, basically, showing you basically the basis right on your hands of what you can accomplish pretty quickly. So it's going to be pretty cool, because it's not a book that you read from page 1 to 149 or or something like that all the way through. It's more of what you need. It's something like if you wanted to know how to do a 3-way call with a leader, it shows you how to do a 3-way call. If you just go to the page and just follow the steps. If you want to do become a better closer, for example, you just go to our page 125, and it'll show you basically, how to become a better closer, how to close people a little bit better. You want to learn a little bit more of leader etiquette. We have that. You want to learn a little bit about team etiquette. You'll read about that. You want to know how to sort through people and how to sort correctly. We'll have you can see that on there. How to build a monthly success plan, basically within your business and stuff like that. So you will see a lot of different things, how to build a solid foundation, how to, what's the 3 envelope strategy that we use and stuff like that. So all this stuff is in there. So you guys can go like step by step and basically use that almost like a manual of sorts, because it's a handbook, but it's like it's some proven strategies to really create some great wealth within network marketing. So it's pretty cool. So as we're talking about all that, you know, network marketing to me, so just so you guys know, has been something that definitely changed my life forever. A lot of people may think I came from wealth, or I came from a lot of places because the way I'm living, or because the way because of the home I have, or the vehicles I have, or whatever. But it's not. It wasn't that way. I grew up with a single mother. Always hurting for money, hurting for where to find food. It was not easy. During those times. Especially when she didn't have a job, for a large period of that time. Uh, so we suffered a lot. We went through a lot of, homes because we were always being kicked out for not being able to pay the rent. We lived a life that forced me to become an entrepreneur. It forced me to try to find a way to help my mother since I was a child. Why? Because that's the only way I could figure out to make some extra money to help. That's the only way I figured out to be able to, build just a little bit of more extra income. For example, what did I do? I sold things throughout my life, but the majority that I made a lot of money with in school was selling candy. And during the times when I was in school, there was, you couldn't sell candy or pop or soda, whatever you call it, within the school here in California, at least. So what ended up happening is that I was basically the drug dealer, but my drugs were, candy, sugar, stuff that people wanted, right? And made a lot of money. I was not, I can't say, I was very, very successful, but obviously it was enough to help my mother get on into, for us to stay within the apartment that we were in, and have a little bit of better life with less tension, right? The other thing that happened was that when I was about 16 and a half, my mother was invited to a home party for a crystal company. And that's where I was introduced to network marketing. Because I was standing in the back of the room, I saw all these people, and I don't know if you guys ever been in a home party where you got all this stuff people are buying and everything else. And then what was funny to me is that I knew everybody that was in that room that were guests for this party. And I knew that everybody in that room couldn't afford to pay the rent, yet everybody was buying this stuff, right? And to me, that was so interesting because, when they're always complaining, and I hear them complaining, and I'm hearing they don't have this, they don't have that, and all of a sudden, everybody's buying this products. To me, that sounded like it was amazing. So one of the things that happened was that I found a way to sign up to that company. So I can, that's how I found out it was network marketing. Now I needed a sponsor and all this stuff, and started selling this product door to door. I hired all my friends from high school, and we were, at $4.25 an hour at that time. It was very great money. I know right now it might be nothing depending where you are around the world. But $4.25 an hour, we hired people and we went door to door and we sold so much product. I became the number one regional salesperson for that company within a few months. The beauty to that is that that's how I met my first mentor. Because thanks to those sales, I was invited to a convention, so I can be awarded that trophy for being the number one regional. And during the time I was there at the convention, I met my first mentor that sat down with me and explained to me a lot of things that I was not aware about in network marketing. And I became a student of the industry during that time. And when I became a student of that industry, what did that mean is I started following this gentleman everywhere and becoming a shadow basically of him. Listening to what he did, listening to his three-way calls, listening to the way he spoke to people, the way he prospected people, the way he sold the product. And I started, shadowing him to the point that every single one of the presentations, business presentations that he had, I was the one flipping the chart, because back then there was no PowerPoints. There was no, everything was printed on a large piece of papers where, you flipped it on a tripod, and people knew what it was. But during this time when I shadowed him, and the reason I shadowed him is because I saw he made $20,000 a month. And to me, that was ridiculous money. I thought that cannot happen. There's no way people can make $20,000 a month. I was not a believer yet. If he was doing it, what was he doing to be able to earn that kind of money? So when I started following this gentleman, I started noticing what he was doing. And everything he did was it was basically the same words, the same script, the same questions he gave people, the same answers. It was exactly the same verbatim that he was talking about all the time. Every presentation was word by word, exactly the same exact jokes in the middle. They were not great jokes, but he had the exact same jokes in the middle. He had the exact same words, word for word, that he was doing on each presentation. I started doing the same thing, and I started having huge success. For example, I started earning $20,000 a month very quickly after that. And then when I did that, I got to about 20,000. He got to about 20,000. So I thought we maxed out the comp plan. I thought that was it. We were at the top of the comp plan. There was no more money. And then we went to a convention, and I met his upline. And his upline was doing $80,000 a month. So I started following her everywhere. I actually flew over to the state that she worked in, and I stayed there as long as I could. So I followed her everywhere she went, because I wanted to make sure that I learned what she learned and start duplicating what she had. I found that she was doing everything the exactly same way that he was, but she was adding more to what he did. So I start adding these few things that are extra. And guess what? I started climbing that money chart until I was doing $80,000 a month. So I figured out that money and the potential of building a business is powerful. But the reason it is powerful, my friends, is because you have control of your destiny. You have control of how much money you want to make. And I figured this out because if I was doing 1,000 a week, I was happy, but yet he was doing 20, so I wanted 20. And I thought that was maximum. So I was very happy, thought I hit the top, until I met somebody who was doing 80. Then I started struggling and started pushing and tried to get to that, and I started making 80. And then it went on and on and on. I earned my first $1 million a year income at the age of 20. Earned my first $5 million a year income at the age of 25. And then I kept climbing. By the age of 40, I was doing 8 figures a year in network marketing. So everything comes to a standard of how you do things within this company. And most of it is mindset. And when I'm talking about mindset, my friends, you got to understand that the majority of things that you do to build your business, 95% is mental, 5% is physical. There's a lot of people on here that are trying to do everything physical to the maximum of their ability. But there's ways to duplicate things out that are simple. Like I said, mental is basically, 95% of everything should be mental in how you do things and how you grow things. You got to develop, one thing that I found out pretty soon is that you had to develop the right mental attitude. You got to get off this roller coaster ride of emotions that people get on. When you recruit a lot of people, you're excited and you're up here, and all of a sudden, you don't get nobody, or somebody says no, and then you're down here, and then all of a sudden you're up, and then you're down, and then you're up and you're down. My friends, one of the things that I learned is that don't get excited for the good things that happen. That excited. Obviously, we got to get excited. And don't get upset at the things that don't happen. And you kind of maintain a feeling that is even keel around the whole thing. And one of the things that you're going to understand is that you got to understand that we're not judging ourselves for every action that we do. We judge ourselves by choosing long-term thinking, basically, in everything that we do. And what does that mean? It means setting goals for yourself. And when the goals, don't say, I want to buy a house or I want to buy a car, set yourself monetary, how much money you want to make by a certain date. And the reason I tell you money, because you can judge yourself evenly in how much income you're making, because you can put a number on that. But you can't put a number on homes. You can't put a number on cars. You can't put a number on a lot of different things. So make sure that whatever you're judging your goal at, make sure it has a number figure. That way you know when you hit it. Because when you hit it, you're going to create a new one right after that. Try to create, goals that are easy reachable. They're difficult for you, but they're easier. Don't go, I want to make $1 million. Say, I want to make $1,000 first a week. I want to make $2,000 after you hit that. I want to make $5,000 after you hit that, and keep doubling it. Make small goals as you're stepping into success. See, a lot of people don't understand one thing that, in the way I think, because see, we're going to run into a lot of issues along the way, but if you make them smaller, you make them faster to get around them. You make these goals faster to get to them. And then you make the errors that are happening in between easier to attend. See, every mistake that you make creates a step to the ladder or the stairway to your success mountain. So it's the best way to do things all the time is by small increments as you're growing. I'm not saying go slow. I'm saying make them small and hit them fast. That's all I'm doing. And that's all I do. That's all I've done my whole life. I'm in the business, my friends, of sorting. For a lot of you who don't understand this business, we do sales in the 5 steps to success, hand to hand, online, whichever way. And then you've heard the magic where they say the money is in the follow-up. You guys have heard that multiple times probably in your life. I know that. But the money is in the follow-up because you can upsell them, you can make more money. They can become a permanent customer of yours, obviously. That's called retention, which is good. But the wealth, your wealth, is in sorting. And that's where millionaires are made, my friends. Millionaires are made by sorting and learning how to sort people in a very quick fashion. If you're looking at the 5 steps to success and you're looking at them, it's basically the 5 steps are a funnel system that we take people from prospecting to following up to sorting, and then we follow them into basically an affiliate, and then we duplicate them, basically. So it's a funnel system that we're using, if you guys understand that point. And to get through this funnel system, the most important part is sorting people the correct way. For example, I have positive people that I look at all the time, and I look for all the time for the business. See, most of you probably don't even know who's a positive person or not. But there's keys to finding positive people, my friends. A lot of you are trying to get everyone involved, and it's not probably working out for you. Why? Because you're going through everybody that you can. And of course, 98% of the people that you touch are going to say no to the product and no to the opportunity. Because 98% of everyone works for the 2% in this world. You guys understand that point? See, 98% of everyone in this world works for the 2% in this world. So you got to understand that 98% of the people that you're going to approach are not entrepreneurs, are not people that want to do the business. So you got to learn to sort them correctly. And by that means making sure that these people are customers and try not to ruin it for them by showing them the business. And then there's people who are in the 2%. They're going to do massive business. And those are the people that you got to understand how to sort through so you can get them involved in the business, not as a customer. See, people ask me, how do you sort really? How do you deal with people as you walk, as you're talking to people? Well, I spend 80% of my time with positive people. People who are positive have the right answers. They're positive answers. They want to see things grow. They want to see their future better. They want positive people. I spend 80% of my time with. 20% of my time I spend with people that have questions. Who are these people? People you may ask them, hey, do you want to go to the movies? And they'll say, what movie? At what time? Where? Those are 3 questions you must answer very quickly. Any 3 can make them negative or positive. You see what I'm saying? Because if you tell them it's at 2:00 at the theater in Los Angeles at tomorrow, you go like, I'm busy, I can't do that. Negative, automatically. But I can go through a lot more people and find somebody and go like, hey, Albert, you want to go to the movies? And you just go like, yeah. He didn't even ask me what time, where. He's already in the car, right? If I task like David Marquez, he goes, hey, let's go to the show. He's like, yeah, let's do it. He's already in the car. He's not even asking questions. So I try to spend my time with 80% of those people, positive people. How do you, and then there's also the negative people. You guys are going to find, there's a funny rumor out there that, there's one really, really bad negative person in this world, right? And most people are great. Most people are positive. Most people are beautiful people. But there's always that one ugly, awful, negative person that always wants to be negative to you, right? We always know those people. And unfortunately, that one gets around a lot. So they might get around to you and might get around to a lot of the people, might infect other people around you to be negative. So I try to spend 0% of my time with negative people. The moment I find out they're negative, I shut them off. I don't want them. Why? Because negative people are like rotten apples. You put a rotten apple in a box with all red apples, you're going to have a box of rotten apples by tomorrow. And that goes true for your business, my friends. And one of the greatest things that you can understand is that sorting through people makes you rich if you learn how to do this correctly. Another way that I sort through people, and how do I find out? How do I find out that person is positive? How many of you have been out there in the street walking around, and all of a sudden you find a person who's talking to everybody? He's like, hello, how are you? Hey, how you doing? Hey, ha, ha, ha. And talking, hey, sir, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. They're talking. They're not trying to sell you nothing. They're positive. They're smiling. They're happy. They're talking to a lot of people. And people are listening to them, right? Positive person. You remember when you were in school, there were positive, those popular kids in the school? Why were they the popular ones? They were the ones smiling and happy and talkative. What makes them different than the other kids that were in school? The other ones were grumpy, sad, angry, upset, bothered by something, walking around, right? How do you become part of those cool kids that are popular all the time? You smile, you talk to them, you become part of that bunch, you start laughing, enjoying their time in life. See, a lot of people don't understand that everyone here in this Zoom has issues in their life. I don't care if you're rich or you're poor, Everybody has issues. Everybody has problems. Everybody has something that is negative in their life. So everybody doesn't want more negativity in their life. They avoid people who are grumpy. They avoid people who are sad. People, how many times somebody comes up to you and says, "Oh, I hate that person." And you don't even want to listen to that, right? You don't want to get involved. You don't want to spend that time, right? But if there was somebody smiling and they're like laughing, you kind of want to know, what are they talking about, right? Sometimes we even get close to trying to hear the conversation because they're so happy. You want happiness to come to you. You want it to flow to you. You want happiness to become part of you because maybe you're missing happiness within your heart. And maybe that's a mineral that you're missing in your body. See? And that's something that we put into our products, a lot of love and a lot of happiness. So you're going to get a lot of that. That's why you get, after you see your girl Tasha over there drinking a few products and all of a sudden she's dancing on the screen. Why? Because there's a lot of happiness coming in, right? It's a lot of love flowing through her to a lot of people. And that's basically what we need to accomplish through a lot of people is show them that positive in you. See, I tell a lot of people, the issue people have problems recruiting or prospecting out there in the public, especially cold prospecting, is because everybody's walking around with a grumpy face. And I know it's true because I know you in a vehicle, you drive around somewhere and you look out the window and everybody's grumpy. You look in the street, everybody's upset. You go through the mall, it's very rare that people are happy unless they're buying things. They have big bags and then they're happy, right? But if you learn to smile, and I know it's difficult for a lot of us, but if you learn to smile, and one of the things that I do is I always practice smiling. How do I do that? Whenever I have spare time, I just grab a pen or pencil, and I just bite it and I hold it in my mouth as I'm doing other things. And what that does is it puts that smile, that muscle. That's why I got dimples all the time, because those dimples didn't come from nothing. They came from hard work, biting a pen. It's like, what you do is you show yourself to be happiness. You present yourself happy and you speak happiness to people. Guess what's going to happen? People are going to want to listen because it's infectious. It's something that you want. It's not like COVID that nobody wants it. Happiness is something everyone wants. That virus, everybody wants to be affected by it. Everybody needs it. See? And a lot of people seem to not understand that point because they don't understand that people just don't want to talk to negative people. It's just, it's subconsciously. But I don't, when I'm walking around, I see somebody that's upset, crying. I don't want to ask them what's wrong. I don't want to get involved. I don't want that baggage on me too. It's like I have enough of my own stuff. I don't want them also, right? But if you see somebody happy, you want to approach them. So just keep that in mind every time you're talking to people. And that simplicity, that factor alone, you're going to see the amount of people, they're just going to listen to you. It's going to change. It's going to be something that is tremendous. You got to start your business with the end in mind. And what do I mean by that? You got to understand where you're going. Maybe at this point in life, maybe your goals are not that far, and that's okay. You can raise your goals later. But you got to start with the end in mind. You got to start with a goal in your mindset, where you're going, what you're going to accomplish, where you'll be. This is important, my friends. And the reason it's important is because if you went to high school and you didn't know there was a diploma at the end, what would you be working for? If you went to a race and you didn't know there was an award if you won, what would you be working for? You got to start with the end in mind. What rank do you want? What's your lifestyle that you want? What are you looking for? It doesn't have to be big, my friends. It can be as simple as, hey, I just want to pay the rent. I just want to have some extra money so my kids can eat. I mean, it can be as simple as that, or it can be, hey, look, I want to earn $2,000, $3,000 a month. I want to become somebody that, is independent of everybody else in the government. I just want to make sure I'm doing something for my kids and myself. So you got to put yourself where you want to see yourself and paint that picture with yourself, with your family, with everybody. See, when you don't have that end in mind, it's hard to guide where you're going. It's like, for example, if you're going to go somewhere and if you drive, because I know a lot of you here don't, you usually have a GPS unit on your phone or something. And then you put in the destination and the GPS tells you exactly where to go. You got to know where you're going, because if you don't know, the GPS can't hand you, can lead you. You can't lead yourself if you don't know where you're going. You're going to get stuck in a rut. You're going to get stuck in a circle. But once you have that destination, hey, you can go wherever you want. And remember, if you're going to a destination on your GPS and you find a better destination, you still can change it, right? You can go like, well, I didn't want to go to the beach. Let's go to Disneyland, right? You change the address to Disneyland and automatically the GPS will reset to go somewhere else. Exactly with your business. You can set yourself to smaller goals. And along the way, when you see you're almost approaching, you're almost there, you can change the GPS to something higher if you want. But you got to have the mindset, and you have to start your business, your mind, and everything you do with the end in mind. Ever since I started in network marketing, especially with the binary system, I have always visioned a 2020 vision. And what I mean by 2020 vision is that you got to understand that you will have a very powerful binary. That means residual income. That means a lot of wealth within what you're doing in Vida Divina. If you have a 2020 vision, what we mean by that is you must have 20 direct people on one side and 20 direct people on the other side that are working the business. That's the difference though. See, you can recruit 100 people, but if they're not working the business, they don't count. You got to have 20 that are working the business on one side and 20 who are working the business on the opposite side. Now, the numbers show that people who bring in at least 20 people, within those 20 people, they'll bring some other people that are working, and somebody within the 20, between the other people, between the people, there's going to be somebody who's going to be a superstar coming to your business. It's going to happen. But to the average to make that happen is 20 on each side. It's usually it is. Some people do it with less because they get lucky, and I understand that. But it's 20 usually. 20 will get you the right number for that to happen. So make sure there's 20 active people in your business on each side of your binary all the time. Active, I mean by working, not by just buying their qualification a month. Okay? Active always means working, building the business. Even if they're selling 3 products a week, doesn't matter. They're active. Those count. Okay? Now, you got to treat your business as a business. And what I mean by that is that you got to treat it as a business. If you do, it'll pay you as a business. If you treat your business as a hobby, it'll pay you as a hobby. See, you control what you want to accomplish. But the biggest problem I see in the majority of the, within Vida Divina is that people are treating it as a hobby or like something extra. But the people who take it seriously, they're hitting huge numbers. So you got to put your mindset and say, hey, I got to, this is not a hobby for me. I mean, I can paint in the weekend. I can, create beautiful necklaces on the weekend as a hobby. But if I treat this as a business, you will have business success. See, a lot of people have to have that change in their chip inside their brain to think about what they're doing. Because most people see this like a hobby. I mean, I see a lot of people that go on Zooms or go to the home meetings and go to the, the conventions for Vida Divina, and they're up there, they're screaming, they're applauding, they're jumping up and down. They're the ones screaming like, yes, yes, yes. And, we're going to do it and all this. And then they leave the event and then they're back to the same old. And then they come back to the next event and they're like, yeah, we're the best. And they take the pictures with the leaders and they do all this stuff. And they're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it. They do the same exact show and they leave and they're back to the same. See, there's a lot of people who go to church just to feel good, right? Just like events at Vida Divina. People just go to the events to feel good. They love it. They feel at home. They feel there's something special there. And I understand a lot of people feel how special it feels to see other people having success and everything else, and maybe beginning to dream that maybe it's possible for you to do it too. But there's a lot of people who go to church just for that too, right? But there's some people who go to church because there's more to church than just feeling the church. Then it becomes more part of what they're doing. So if you run your business as more than just the events, more than just the excitement, more than just watching other people succeed, you can succeed. And see, that's a lot of things that people are always talking about, always feeling like, because I have pictures with people, I'll be honest with you, and and it's funny because I love everybody and I love these people, and I told them directly to them. So I'm not saying something that, that's going to offend them and then they're going to, complain about it later. But, I've been to so many events, around the world, and sometimes the same people show up depending on where it's located, obviously. And they always take pictures with me and, they hug me and they cry and everything else. But they're in the exact same location they were before in their business. Right? And you ask him, well, what are you doing that is different? He's like, well, I haven't had the time. I have my kids. I have this. There's always excuses to why they don't have success. And I'm not saying they're bad excuses. I mean, obviously, watching your kids and, helping your kids grow, that's a great excuse. But that should be part of the fuel why you should be succeeding, not the excuse why you should not, right? See, a lot of people don't understand that point because to me, if my kid was hungry and I didn't have money, I'll be in the street trying to find whatever I can to work, to do whatever it is to bring something home so he can put something in his belly, no matter what it is. And I see that as a father, and because obviously I saw that with my single mother, when I was a child. And I think that drives me because of that. It's like, we have to find a way that people can have success. We must hustle every single way, every single minute, every single moment to make things happen. Your business depends on what you do, not on what your sponsor does. You guys understand that point? Because see, a lot of you use an excuse not to have success that my sponsor is not helping me. My sponsor is not doing that. My sponsor is not helping me here, helping me there. And let me tell you one thing, my friends. In my 30 years in network marketing, that hurts to say 30 years, that's how old I am, 30 years in network marketing, just like, wow, in my 30 years of network marketing, I've never had an upline sponsor to help me. I never needed them. I never looked for them, and I still hit the top of the companies. See? And why did I do that? I mean, there was one guy, as a matter of fact, there was one guy, maybe about 10 years ago, he called me and he says, Armand, I saw what you did in so-and-so place. He goes, I'm so proud of you. And I'm like, yeah, he goes, I didn't even remember who he was, by the way. And he goes, I remember. He goes, this is Jim. Jim who? He goes, remember, I sponsored you into this company. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. He goes, yeah, I remember you. What happened? He goes, where you been? He goes, well, I quit because I didn't believe it. I didn't believe what was happening. But then I saw that you were at the top of the company. Now I'm thinking, what he missed is that commission that I would have made for him. Right? But yet I didn't need him because my business starts from me and under. Now, it's good to have upline people that want to help, obviously, but don't depend on other people to run your business. Now, learn from everybody, but don't depend on anybody, because guess what? What you do is for your family. What they do may not be for your family. See what I'm saying? So you got to work for you at all times. Make sure that your sponsor, if somebody is there to help, fantastic. There are sponsors. And if that sponsor doesn't help, there's always somebody in the upline that will, that will do a meeting, that will do something. You can find somebody all the time. But don't depend on your exact sponsor to do that, right? It's sometimes, most of the time, it's not going to happen. Unfortunately, most times, and most leaders that I've seen hit, some of the top ranks, they've made it without the sponsor. They've made it without the upline. They've made it without a lot of different things. Why? And I think that kind of made them stronger in the reason that they're so solid, right? Because that happened. But, it's great to have, but don't depend on it. Don't depend on a sponsor. It's great to have, if you have it. And if you don't, look for a higher sponsor, your upline. Somebody's always going to be there to help you. Okay. If not, I'm there. I'm on top, everybody, right? We'll do a lot of things that people don't do. Okay. You got to learn. How can I word this right? You gotta see things into existence. You gotta build your dream boards. I know a lot of you have your dream boards. A lot of you, dream. If you don't know how to dream yet, because maybe, and I understand a lot of people go like, well, I don't see it yet, or I don't see this. Or maybe you go to church a lot and you think ambition is very, very bad. Ambition is bad if you're thinking of bad things to do. Ambition is good to have if you want to succeed and help family and other people succeed. So, you got to put yourself in a position where you build these dream boards. You put yourself, you think about it. You say where you want to be, what you want to do, where you want to visit, where do you want to vacation, what kind of vehicle do you want, what kind of house do you want, and kind of build on that. And the real thing is that a dream board is built not because you want to flaunt what you want, it's because you want to remember what you're working for every time you see it. You want to remember what your vision is every single time You look at that dream board and it says, yes, or especially if you're scratching stuff off, like, oh, I already did this, and you're scratching it off your dream board. You know how cool that is? You know how proud I am sometimes when, Latasha goes, I bought my son a car. It was a used car, but I bought him a car, right? And scratch right off. He goes, man, that's what I wanted. I put my kids, and she told me, I put my kids through college. Bam, right there. To me, that is awesome, right? And you keep hitting that. You go, now I want my big house, whatever it is. Let's go, one of the ones she just scratched off right now was she wanted to retire from Verizon, and she did it. She just scratched that off recently, right? Proud of her. So a lot of stuff that you do as you're moving through, you got to understand that you can't have those visions if you don't see it. You can't analyze something if you don't see it. You have to see it right here in your heart. It's not even about seeing it on the board. It's about seeing it right here. Seeing it right here in your heart. And I'm telling you, the more you do your dream board, the more you work on it. It doesn't matter how dramatic they are or how high they are. Guess what? Put some stuff in there that you can hit right away. Put some stuff in there you're going to hit in the future. Start hitting it. Start scratching stuff off. It just puts you in a whole new world. I'm telling you right now. The next thing I want you guys to put down is I want you all to ignore all negative influences. And the reason I'm telling you ignore all negative influences because sometimes in those all negative influences are people that are included that you love. Okay? And that hurts to say it, but it's true. And it's not their fault. Okay? So we're not going to put fault on why they're negative toward what you dream. Look, it's just as simple. They don't see your dream because it's not their dream. Okay? It's just that simple. So don't expect people to see your dream and be positive toward it because maybe they tried and they weren't successful, so they think everybody shouldn't be successful too. I don't know. We don't know why they don't see it, but it doesn't matter. You see it. You have that gift from God to see into your future. You can't give that gift to somebody else and try to show them your future. They might think you're crazy. They might say, go back to work, go find a job. They might say, it's impossible. Nothing's impossible. The Wright brothers, people were saying it was impossible to get flight and make a plane happen, that you're going to put a structure into the air. And they made it happen. It was impossible until it was possible. Everything's impossible until somebody does it. But it takes courage for the first person to try. So it is important that you ignore all negative influences in your life. I'm not telling you to stop loving them. I'm not telling you to stop listening to them. I'm not telling you to stop having conversations with them. I'm telling you, don't listen to the negativity that they give out. Don't. If you know they're negative, you know what? Stop talking to them about your business and everything else. Let them forget about it. Don't worry about it. That's your business, not their business. Sometimes, unfortunately, it's our kids. Sometimes that negative, you feel you get them from our spouses. Sometimes you'll get it from our parents. Sometimes you'll get it from everybody. Sometimes you'll get it from our best friends. It doesn't mean you stop loving them or they stop being your best friends or you stop being your parents or you stop being your spouse that you love. But see, here's the difference, my friends. These people that we love, and if they're negative, it's our job to prove to them that we can accomplish it. And I bet you money that the minute you accomplish something, they're going to say, oh, Faith, I knew, Faith, that you were always going to accomplish it. I always knew you had that in you. I knew that you had, I never doubted it in my mind. And they stood there years back and they were like doubting everything you were doing. But the minute that you accomplish something, you are God sent, you were the person. But see, the only difference between somebody successful and somebody who's not is that the people who are successful went through the challenges and didn't quit. Went through the mountains and came out with scars, came out with everything, but guess what? They came out on top. I never say it's going to be easy. Never. It's not going to be simple for anybody to make this happen, but it is possible to make success happen. It doesn't matter if you were born in a place that, didn't have a home, you slept on sand, you had a home made out of, fiberglass or tin. It doesn't matter. We're all born with a vision of God to see that you will be successful. You want to ignore that, that's up to you. And every single one of you have success planted into them. Let me tell you one thing I tell everybody, and this is true. I've been to the top of the success mountain. And on top of that success mountain, there's plaques on that success mountain with everybody's names. And guess what? Your name's on it. And here's the beauty to that is that nobody can take your place. It's always going to be yours. Nobody can ever take that, even if they make it before you, even if they did it faster, even if, they were just better, even if whatever. Nobody can take, everybody can get up there, but nobody can take your place in the success mountain. Now, the reason I'm telling you this is that your place will always be there, but here's the big but, right? And I'm not talking about your rear, so it's but this, but that, right? You can wait a lifetime to get to the top of the success mountain. But that just means less time for you and your children and your family to enjoy it. If you climb the success mountain now, you will have more time to enjoy it now. If you wait till you're 90, you may get there, but you'll have a shorter time to have that success at that point. The idea is to get there as soon as possible so you and your family, and then maybe even your grandkids, maybe your great-grandkids, maybe your great-great-great-grandkids, and on can enjoy the success that you created. See, the point is, don't wait. Do it. Doesn't matter how many times we trip. Doesn't matter how many times we fall. Doesn't matter how many times we get knocked down. Doesn't matter how many times we failed. Guess what? You keep getting up and keep going. That's all we do. That's what an entrepreneur does. It's exactly what we do every single day. That's why you see the famous quotes from Disney, keep going forward. You see the famous quotes from a lot of great people that basically are the exact same thing. Is you get up and you go forward. That's all you do. We're all going to fail. Guess what? When we built Vida Divina, it's only 4 years old, by the way. It's almost 5 in September. But guess what? Have we failed along the way? We failed a lot along the way, my friends. A lot. We've done mistakes along the way, huge mistakes along the way. Why? Because nobody ever gave us a manual for how to build this company, right? It was like we created it and we're like, let's go. And nobody ever said, this is chapter 2. When you go into this country, make sure you do this and this and this, right? Nobody taught us nothing. We learned by our mistakes along the way. But guess what? Our mistakes made us better. And let me tell you all one thing. We're doing the volume right now. We're doing almost a little bit over $500 million right now in sales a year. You know what that means? That means we're doing better than, out of the 46,000 companies in network marketing in this industry, we are doing better than everyone except for maybe 20 companies, 22 companies maybe. Put that in your mind. And how that come to be? By creating and making mistakes along the way. Making sure that we keep making mistakes, but we keep fixing them and making sure we learn from them and keep going forward. That's all we do. I've had mistakes here in Villa Divina that cost me millions of dollars. Millions of dollars went like this. Goodbye. But guess what happens? We learn from that. We go like, oh man, that was bad. Our stomach does have pain. Trust me, when you lose over $1 million in some mistake, you do go to the bathroom without using Te Divina. That kind of, it is one of those fixes also, but you learn from that. And then you go forward. That's all we do, my friends. The more we do that, the more success you will have. The more steps to that stairway to success you will have, the higher you will be. So instead of, fearing your mistakes, do what I do. I love them. I thank God for my mistakes, for the teachings that He has blessed me with. And that's all you got to do, and just keep going forward. So thank you, God. I learned this one. That was a great lesson. Thank you. Let's go forward. And that's all we do. If you do that, you will see success happen even faster. Remember one thing. Quitters never win. Winners never quit. Great saying. I use it all the time. I don't even remember who told it to me first, because I've heard it from everywhere. But it's one of those things that is so true. Quitters will never win. The moment you quit something, you threw the towel, you'll never have that success. And the winners doesn't mean they don't have issues and problems, is that they just never quit. That's what I said before. We keep going forward. Okay? I want everybody, the next step that you're taking note is learn to pique interest with people you're talking to. Learn to become a walking TV commercial, piquing interest, not selling them anything, just piquing interest. There's a big difference to pique an interest than, selling people's tea, for example. There's a big difference. How do you pique interest? Pique interest is you tell them enough of what happened to you, but you don't tell them, I'm going to sell it to you. You just say, man, that was great. Guess what? Curiosity always killed the cat, right? So you got to pique the interest only. People will flock to you all the time. Now, if you're telling the story of your tea, especially if you're talking to somebody, don't tell them the name of the tea. Just tell them it's your tea. Okay? In the story. Why? Because you want them, when they pique their interest and they want to know more about it, you want them to call you back. You guys understand that? So you pique the interest. You go like, hey, look, Oh my God, and especially if you're at a barbecue place, or you're like great, meat place, or great cakes, some great some great food place, right? And you go there with a lot of fried food and everything, like we all love and everything else. And guess what? We go there and we're talking to people like, man, I love this place. He goes, yeah, I love this place. Like, there's people in line and everything. We're trying to buy food. He goes, yeah, I love this place, man. Last time I ate so much, I felt sick, but I loved the food, right? And people go like, yeah, I understand. I love the food, especially guys understand these kind of conversations. And then I tell them this, oh, but I have one tea that I drank it after I ate here and just fixed everything right away. Oh my God, it was just phenomenal. I feel so good. So I came back today. That was yesterday. I came back now today because I want more of this stuff. And that's it. I mean, like, that was the peak interest point of it. And guess what? Guess what's going to happen with that gentleman when he starts feeling his tummy rumble after he's filling himself up with whatever he's eating, right? He's going to go, hey, hey, buddy. He goes, what was that you had? Oh, let me give you my number. Call me, I'll make sure we get something to you. Peak interest. That's just, the business is about peaking interest. The people who peak the most interest, the richer they're going to become, the more successful they will be. This is what the business is about. It's not about selling people. It is selling it to them, by the way, but it's not selling them like you're thinking like, hey, I got 2 teas for blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And if you do this and if you do that, just peak interest. Now, after they're interested, then you get into the sales form, right? Now you give them, always have promotions. Promotion. People buy promotions. Remember that. So when you're talking to yourself and you're talking to these people, think about this with yourself. Go like, what promotion am I going to give this person? We usually promote, and the way I tell people is like, for example, and I'm going to talk in dollars so we won't get confused because there's multiple countries here. But I usually tell them, hey, look, I got a week's worth. See, I don't say I got 1 tea. I say a week's worth of tea for $20. And we have a promo right now. See, this is when you say, we have a promo right now. If you buy 4, we'll give it to you for $75, so you get less. Plus, the promo for this month is we give you 2 more weeks for free for $75. Now, what do you think people are going to do? I mean, that's basically what we sell retail-wise to to everybody anyway. Now imagine telling them the promo like this. What do you think is going to happen? Most people are going to say, well, I'll take the 4 with the 2 free. I'm going to save some money, right? It happens all the time. So make sure you have promos thinking already in your mindset when they come up to you. And you're going to see huge success. Instead of selling 1 week's of tea to everybody, you're going to be selling packs of teas to a lot of people because of the promos, right? So always think about promos as you are moving forward with everything that you're doing. And then as you're creating the promos and with your team and everything else, is you gotta create excitement and urgency to make people move. If you create excitement and urgency with everything, like it's just in the words, it's like, man, he goes, if you don't grab this promo, it ends by next week and you won't get those 2 teas for free. So I think, you should grab it now. I mean, that's just a phenomenal promo. We might lose it by the end of this week. Create some urgency with it. And guess what's going to happen? People are going to jump. They're always going to jump. Always, when talking about the product, my friends, say as little as possible of what the product does, or what it will do for them, or everything like that. See, the biggest problem most people have is they're trying to sell it as a product that does so much things, it becomes incredible. It becomes like impossible for it to work for a lot of people. It becomes like this incredible product that is just not real, right? But if you stick to the simple fact, maybe lose 5 pounds in 5 days, maybe lose 7 pounds in 7 days, maybe something as small as that, and just stick to that. A lot more other things are going to happen. A lot of more people are going to have testimonials for different things, but don't tell people everything that it does, because then it just becomes a product it just nobody believes in it. Keep it to a minimum as possible, every product that you sell. Like, for example, if I'm selling our coffees, I tell people, we got a healthy, you guys you like coffee? Because we have healthier coffee than anybody else. I mean, if you try it, it's just phenomenal. You're going to love the taste. You're going to love everything. When you try it, you're going to fall in love with it. I just tell them about the coffee. I don't tell them what's in it, what makes it healthier, and what that ingredient is going to do for their health. I don't tell them that. No need. As a matter of fact, I add the truth to the end. I was like, and this stuff will make you happy. That's all I do. So as we do that, sorry, that's my CPA lawyers group. They're preparing our taxes for the corporation and everything else. So they're just dialing me in right now. So imagine all this. It's just about, remember, peak interest. Keep it excited and urgent, and make it urgent, pull up the urgency to move people. Say as little as possible about the product. See how simple those are? It's just very simple. Everybody I talk to at all times, no matter who it is, I always talk about people in third person. For example, if I'm talking to Melania, I'm going, Melania, who do you know? See, who do you know that would love to lose 5 pounds in 5 days for the product's organic, even a 5-month-old can use it? That's one. Or Melania, who do you know that would love to earn a couple extra, $100 a week? Melania, who do you know that that would love to drink a healthier coffee that tastes better than any Starbucks coffee out there? Who do you know? See, if you start the conversation with who do you know, you're not selling it to them, but everybody says, I want it. See what I'm saying? So it's a little things like that changes. Who do you know that drinks coffee or tea? Who do you know that are looking to build a business? Who do you know that would love that are entrepreneurs? That's a one that I use all the time, especially when I see people smiling in the street. It's like, hey, he goes, who do you know that who do you know that want to they're entrepreneurs, they want to make some money? Automatically they're like they are sorting themselves. They go like, I'm a person that I'm an entrepreneur and I'm always doing this. And I gotcha. Okay, I know I'm going to talk about the business to that person only, right? I don't have to go through all the 5 steps if you learn to do that kind of things. I just do. I already funneled through all that just in one simple question, depending on who I'm talking to, right? So just keep those things in mind. Remember, everybody just remember this is a numbers game. The more you peak or prospect, the more you will win. It's just that simple. It's a game of numbers. It's like who wins the ball game, the soccer match? Who wins? The one who has the most points. It's that simple. So how do you get the most points? Well, the more, prospects you get, the more points you will get for each product, the more you will win. It's just that simple. So keep those things in mind always. I think, it's some of those things that I think every time I'm looking, every time I'm prospecting, every time I'm searching for people. See, I'm one of those people that are going to always tell you, never, ever prospect your family and friends, the people you love. Never. And see, that's the problem. Most people are the first people you try to prospect. And then that's the reason that you're never invited to birthday parties no more. You're not invited to, the family and friends, barbecue, family and friends to get together because Uncle Joe showed up. You're the one that's not going to be invited. They don't want you there. Why? Because you're always trying to recruit them. So let's just stop doing that. You're going to find out that if we cold recruit people that you don't know, you're practicing on people you don't know. So if you messed up, it's okay. Don't worry about it. But you get better at it the more you do it. You get better at it the more you prospect. You get better at it the more you're talking to people. You get better at talking to people the more you talk to people, right? You get better at seeing what can pique people's interest and what doesn't by, the more you do it. And then you know exactly what to say to people. Like I said, I can understand just by their look, their eyebrows, when they go up and down, and I can kind of tell when I'm asking a question who these people are and what their future could be in the company. Just by that. I mean, I'm so good at sorting is that I can go out there and sort through a lot of people very quickly. But you will get there too by practicing. If you do the 5 steps to success and you walk out there and you prospect every day, like Albert said in the morning, I tell people to prospect 25 people a day. I know people say, no, that's too much. It's a lot. Look, 25 people, you can do it in an hour or less. Prospecting. You're not telling them, it's not 25 sales. It says 25 people you prospect, you talk to. You try to get them to start a conversation. The great art of conversing with other people that you don't know. And guess what? You're going to get good at it. The better you get at it, the more wealthier you will become. It's just that simple. Okay? So understand that there's many, many ways to do the business. And there's a lot more phenomenal trainings that we're going to be talking about very oftenly. I already told Albert that, I'm committed to every single one of you to make sure we pull a gamma of powerful leaders out of you guys and making sure that we have a large percent of rubies, emeralds, and diamonds in this company from this group. And the reason I'm telling you this is because obviously you guys have seen, a lot of the trainings, a lot of things. And I know I get a lot of complaints going like, Armand, how come it's always Spanish? How come it's always, it's not me. It's not me that does that. It's because obviously the Spanish leaders, they're just overblown and they're working. They're just going so hard that they're promoting. And it looks like we're doing it right as a company, and it's not. It's them. But how do we combat that is by having you guys move faster, get stronger, become wealthier, create that story that is powerful into the future. Just so you guys know, how every month you're qualifying. You can see what rank you're moving up, during the month and everything else. Geez, in the first 9 days, Albert already hit diamond. I can see Albert hitting, double diamond, very soon. If he did that in 9 days, I think, the next 9, you should be able to hit the double diamond for the first time. You should be able to hit maybe, by the end of the month for sure. I see a lot of you here that can hit Ruby pretty quickly also. So, I mean, we're doing things that are right. And I think we're going to be blowing this thing out of the water. And I want you guys all to prepare yourselves mentally. Like I said, it's all about mindset. There's nobody on this earth that can tell you that you are not worthy of being successful. You are. Every single one of you here, doesn't matter what age you are at, doesn't matter how you look, or if you're sick or you're not, or you're healthy, guess what? If you're muscular or you're not muscular, guess what happens? You can be successful. You can build your story. Let's do it together. Because guess what, my friends? What we're going to do, we're going to blow a lot of people out of the water. And I think every single one of you have an opportunity to hit the top ranks, because they're not, here's the beauty about our ranks. They're not judged by who it is. It's judged by who works for it. And everybody here has the capability and the possibility to reach these beautiful ranks. So God bless every single one of you. I'm so happy you gave me time to be with you today. And I'm going to be seeing you quite oftenly, because we're going to be talking about training very, very often. Probably, if we can, we're going to be talking about doing this very often. So you guys have, and every time I'm on, it's going to be something very different. That way you're never getting the same thing twice. So we're going to be moving forward. And guess what, my friends? We're going to be making stories happen. And I hope to see you all at the top. God bless you all. I love you all. Thank you for all your work. Thank you for everything you all do. We see it happen. We're seeing it happen. And I appreciate you with all my heart. Thank you. God bless.
Thank you, Mr. Armand Puyolt. That was a powerful call, ladies and gentlemen.